honk, 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 honk. Hey guys, how you doing? My name is codename BIGBEAR or Stuart, if you want to call me by my first name. Welcome to the Bears Den. Today we are going to be talking about a relatively old-ish game, but in September it did get a nice little update to have local player co-op. If you don't know already, if you haven't figured out by the cold open, it is the Untitled Goose Game. Or, as I knew it during its development, which is just, by me knowing it during its development, I mean by like the advertising and videos I saw of it, the Asshole Goose Game. To be honest, I think it's a better title because you are a little asshole goose throughout the entire thing, which is just spectacular. But the reason I'm talking about it today is because there is the co-op thing, and I finally got around to playing it, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. I haven't reviewed Goose Game yet, so this is the review of the Goose Game. So what is this game? This is essentially a goose simulator. If you've ever met a goose or geese in real life, they are absolute pains in the bum, and they're quite terrifying. They have literal teeth on their tongues. And if they bite, they flipping hurt. Thankfully, I haven't been bitten by a goose, but I have been chased by one, so there is that. But you play this goose who just kind of comes out of a bush and decides to go on a wander through the local town, the village, I suppose. And the first thing he does once he finally meets a person is, well, you get a list of things to do, and they are basically just annoy all the townsfolk. And it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I just love this game. It's really good fun, lovely and charming. Now the music in this game is obviously really lovely as well. Yeah, it just kind of comes in and out depending where you are and whereabouts you are on a stage. I'm assuming it's like a circular bubble somewhere. You step into it, you can step 2 feet one way, and the music stops and it starts again. But it just kind of brings that charm again. It just makes you feel like you are in an idyllic. I'm unsure. Makes you feel like you're in a picturesque little village where people are just living their lives. And if you've ever kind of lived in or near or been to a place like this, it absolutely encapsulates what it is to be British. It's really, really ridiculous. There's a local pub where you got the old man playing darts and drinking beer. You've got the gardener who is just this old guy getting on with it. In fact, my neighbours are kind of like that guy, except without the flat cap. And yeah, you just kind of see them going about their daily things. You got a tiny little town where there's an outdoor market, there's a video store, and you can just do all sorts of things. And it just, if you've ever watched Wallace and Gromit, it's kind of like that, but you're focusing on the goose, except less wacky and no inventions. But that kind of British feel it has about it. Everything's kind of homely and lovely. That's what this game kind of tells me is going on. Plus, in that pause screen as well, fantastic. You actually have a tourist sign, being a brown one, be it continue. Then you have all these different colour signs, and these are actual road signs that you would see in the UK as well, which is pretty nice. Well, and obviously not with the words on them, but the shapes and the colours and the patterning they got on them. So that's just really, really cool. And seeing a red phone box and a red post box, always good fun. Graphically, this game is gorgeous to look at. It is cel-shaded in its sense. I think it's cel-shading, but yeah, I'm gonna go cel-shading. It is cel-shading. Everything looks great. The goose himself he animates so well when you make him duck and he's got wings out and he's just kind of running around. You're only posing for people, and you're just basically being an annoyance, undoing people's shoelaces, making a kid trip, because why not? Because that kid just, without his glasses, he doesn't do anything. He just wanders around like a loon. But you gotta make him trip over, and it's always good. Just like annoying kids, to be honest. So cool. But you got tasks aside that you can do, and you know, like making that kid buy back his own toy, which I think was just so funny. It happened to him twice in his co-op playthrough. It was just genius. Like, he bought it. The woman took the money off of him, and he goes to one of his office. She's like, hey, you need to pay for that. And he's like, what? Every bit about this game just oozes charm, and the art style really helps out. The music helps it brilliantly as well. But the best thing about this game is the honk feature. I love a game that has a dedicated button just to annoy people. You have it in Goose Game, you have it in Goat Simulator, you have it in Scarface. You know, you can just hit buttons to do quips or noise. You also have it in Evil Dead Regeneration as well, which is just dandy. I love Evil Dead. Was it Regeneration or Fistful of Boomstick? It's in one of the Evil Dead games. Anyway, gone off topic. Yeah, and the controls are really simplistic as well. Again, you use your left stick to move your goose around. Your right stick doesn't do anything really, so don't have to worry about that. You just kind of wander around doing your goose thing. You can zoom in and out using the shoulder buttons. You have a button to honk, which is just fantastic. You have a button to get your wings out and pose a bit. You have a button to lower your head so you can grab things on the floor, and you can swim, and you can move a bit faster by holding A or B, whichever consoles you're playing on. You can run faster as well, so it's just really simplistic stuff. The main goal of the game is to annoy everybody, just get certain things done, like get a bow put on you by pretending to be a goose statue in a garden and scare the pants off a lady, which is quite fun. This game is just so fun. I love this game. Now, the main reason that I am talking about it today is, as I said, the co-op mode. Myself and my girlfriend, we decided to play this together. We don't really get a chance to play many games together because not many games are local co-op these days. We're playing Borderlands. We tried to play A Way Out at some point, and we found that the controls in A Way Out just wasn't letting you control the character all that much, so that was kind of annoying. And this game is cute as all hell, so why not? So we played this one, and I'd already played through the game on single player when it first came out on Game Pass, and then we got this. So basically, I let Nina just run wild. I was following her lead. I wasn't telling her anything about what we had to do, and I was just kind of doing stuff, just kind of being a goose and being annoying. And we had an absolute blast doing this as well. It was just so fun. We're chuckling away and just laughing at everything that's going on, because it's just so charming, and looking at the little tiny details that you can see whilst you're playing this game. And if you are British, if you've been to villages like this, you're gonna recognize a lot of this stuff. Yeah, you're gonna recognize the kind of shopkeeper, like not people themselves, but you're going to recognise those types of people as well. When you go to the pub, you have that old man who's playing darts. I mean, if you've ever worked in or been to a pub in the UK that's kind of a local pub, you always see a guy like that. There's always one with a flat cap, you know, so it's just so good. But playing this co-op was so much fun. It was an absolute blast. I mean, in fact, we properly teamworking our way through the entire game, because when you play this solo, you have the issue of, well, I could do this, but I've got to time it right with this going on here, and this is going to mess this up, and you end up redoing things over and over again, which is fine. It was not a very long game, so it wasn't really an issue, and the puzzles aren't exactly hard. It's just getting that timing right. But if you had somebody else there, you can have somebody distracting somebody whilst you're off doing your thing, like dragging things to the picnic blanket. I mean, we used walkie-talkies, which was good fun. We dragged a sign throughout the entire game, and it was just loads of fun. And yeah, it was really fun to see how Nina would work out what to do. You know, we get the list. She's like, okay, cool, I have a rough idea of what this is. One point we were stuck in a garden. I knew what it was, but I didn't want to tell her. I wanted her to figure this out because it's the first time she played this game. And she pulled the drawer out the thing and worked out, oh look, we can get into the other garden there, which is just so good. It's just, I love this game. I know I've said it like 3 or 4 times, but I do. I mean, I've only played it twice, but it's so much fun. Just so much fun. Now, do I think Ghost Simulator is worth the money that you're paying? $17.99, $34.99 on physical, on a Switch, for instance. $34.99, maybe not. 20 quid? Yeah. With the co-op added, absolutely. You guys can play loads of stuff. There's extra achievements and stuff to do as well if you're on the Xbox or PS4. But yeah, maybe $17.99 is probably about worth it. It is a very short game though. You know, I really wish there was more levels and more things we can kind of deal with. But because of the way the world is integrated, it's kind of in a large circle. You interlink. You kind of, there's not really any margins for them to kind of go, right, let's go to a different area. There is one bit they could do that with. Just before you get to the pub, there's like a pathway you can go up and you kind of get stuck. It just stops going. You can easily go down there and have something else down the village. That'd be nice. But it didn't happen, so... I don't really think there's much about this game that if you've even had a remote interest in it that you wouldn't know already. If you played this game, I'm just telling you stuff you already know. But this game had years of development. I've been watching it for such a long time. Again, known to me as the asshole Goose Game, not Untitled Goose Game. And I believe they changed it to Untitled because, well, it made sense because everyone was calling it the Goose Game. And, you know, adding asshole in the front because you get to be in this goose that just annoys people. And it's just, yeah, I've been watching it since none of that. And when it finally got announced for consoles, I was so excited because I don't really play PC games. I know that in last week's video I was talking about my game that I made that's only on PC right now, but I don't really ever play them. You know, I find sitting at a computer quite boring, I suppose. It's just not very comfortable. You know, it's not exactly as fun as sitting on a couch and doing it. And the fact this game is on consoles, it has couch co-op, which is just amazing. I say this last generation, there really hasn't been many local multiplayer games, and obviously the game companies have been kind of like eking at that a little bit. They're kind of like throwing in more local multiplayer, especially with the games like A Way Out, where it's solely you have to play it with somebody else. You know, it's really nice to see that, and I'm really hoping in the next generation of consoles we do get more of that. But I really doubt that, to be honest. I think we're gonna get less again, which is a shame. Which is a massive shame because there's something missing in gaming these days, and it's the lack of local multiplayer. Now, what do I score this game? It is very short. I mean, a couple hours. You can blast through this game in an hour if you really wanted to, but you can get through it very, very quickly. It is bright, it is colourful, it's charming, it has amazing music. I say amazing music. It has music that's just really, really lovely. It has this multiplayer, which is so much fun. It causes so much teamwork. Two of you can cause amazing amounts of havoc and just have a laugh, just pressing the honk button constantly. And it's just so much fun. Yeah, you have the controls, which are just flawless. I mean, the goose is a bit awkward to turn around, but if you've seen geese actually walk around in the real world, they are awkward if they're walking. They need to fly or be on the water, basically. But they got all these kind of details down, of the very British details, like I said, the signposting that you have in your menus. You know, the fact you got your red post boxes, you got your red phone booths, and these phone booths, they do still exist here in the UK, but every time I've seen some, especially in the villages, they've kind of been turned into like local libraries. You know, people put books in there, you can take one, you can replace one. It's just a really lovely idea. I think it's really cool. But it's, you know, it's an iconic image of the UK, and this game clearly demonstrates that, and it clearly demonstrates that love. So the score I'm going to give this game might seem quite high for some people, might seem very low for some people, but I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I just genuinely loved this game. The only reason it gets lower than a 9 is because of how short the game is, and I wish there was more. I mean, I played this game solo when it came out on Game Pass, and I had an absolute blast. I loved every second of it, and I just sat down beginning to end, just played the game, tried to get some of the extra achievements I may have known about, but I never picked it up again. I wanted to. I actually just wanted to play the game because it's just one of those games that you can just kind of wander around and just do things and just cause havoc and find out what else you can do and what you can't do, and try and get some things to certain areas. You know, try and get a ball to, I don't know, goal post kind of thing. Might be a bit of fun. But then having co-op and being able to play with a friend or your significant other, or you know, you get the idea. It just changes the game entirely again, and it's not really a massive change, but having that friend just means you're both having a laugh and you're both working out these little puzzles together and working out what certain things you can do, passing things to other people. You know, both of you able to get bows on your keys, which is really nice. You get a red one and a blue one, which is cool. But these are all those things that I really enjoy about this game. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. Write comments, like, share, subscribe. If you want to see more of our videos, we have hundreds and hundreds of videos here on YouTube from Respawning. Mikey has recently done a review, well, I say review, he's done a look at superhero games over the years and how they've evolved to the Avengers today, for instance, from things like Thor, The Dark World, I want to say Dark World, God of Thunder, maybe, that rubbish game. But he's done a whole look at that, and I'd recommend checking that one out as well. Have a look at our website for more articles on all sorts of stuff, and most of all, don't forget to be nice to each other, yeah?